Next, we have Meredith Brooks, Opportunities and Challenges for Aquaculture in the Pacific Region.
Thank you and good afternoon. And I am Meredith Brooks, as he mentioned. I'm representing the Center for Tropical and Subtropical Aquaculture along with my colleagues Maggie Ma, and I'm sure you all know Dr. Cheng Sheng Lee, our executive director. We are a small organization, so we wear many hats, and we actually don't really have very many dedicated extension professionals in our region. We have none in Hawaii. Our researchers are typically the ones who add extension work onto their projects. And then we also do some extension work in-house in center, which is why I'm standing here in front of you today. So just to begin, we're one of the 5 regional aquaculture centers, and our program mission is to support aquaculture research, development, demonstration, and extension education to enhance viable and profitable U.S. aquaculture. So what we do is we integrate individual and institutional expertise in support of commercial aquaculture in our defined region. As you can see here, that spans a very large geographic area, a lot of 10, 12-hour, 15-hour flights to get to check on our region, but it's worth it. And we include Hawaii, American Samoa, Marshall Islands, Northern Marianas Islands, Guam, Federated States of Micronesia, and Palau. Okay. And something that's unique about our region, we have abundant access to resources needed for aquaculture, particularly marine aquaculture. We've got unlimited access to the EEZ and pretty much as much salt water as we can use. We also have a decent amount of freshwater for freshwater aquaculture. Another thing that's unique about our industry, we're inherently connected to the ocean and seafood. So we don't have a lot of the same perception problems that the rest of the United States maybe does in terms of getting people to understand why it's important to eat seafood. We also have the history of the first aquaculture that took place in the United States took place in Hawaii in the Hawaiian fish ponds. So there is a history there, but somewhere along the way we kind of lost the connection. So what I'm going to talk to you about today is I'm going to go over a brief little extension history, and then talk about some of the opportunities and challenges that we have. And then actually what I'd really like is to hear from all of you, since we're not, we're not trained extension specialists, just what we can do to improve our extension efforts. So we began in 1986, so we have over 30 years of extension support and capacity building throughout the Pacific Islands. We did have a dedicated regional extension agent beginning with the start of our program, and it was very strong in the 1990s, fizzled out in the early 2000s. But they did a lot of work on capacity building for giant clam farming, bath sponge, coral, finfish, and more. And our current efforts are more focused on individual projects to address disease issues, workforce training, sustainable feed development, and other key issues. And just to share some pictures of some of our previous extension work, these are soft corals, this is the bath sponge, and the giant clam. Okay, so today, fast forwarding to today and the extension work we're currently doing, a lot of it focuses on oyster production and disease mitigation in the Hawaiian fish ponds. I'm sure a lot of you know Dr. Maria Haas, and she is one of our funded researchers working on disease issues and also increasing production in the fish ponds. These are some of her oysters. Another thing that we've been working on recently is Francisella and tilapia. We've had serious outbreaks that have decimated Hawaii tilapia farms, particularly in the late 90s, early 2000s. So we began putting efforts towards that to mitigate it. And we're proud to say we've gotten to a pretty good place where it's not really that much of an issue anymore. Farmers know how to handle it when it comes. And aquaponics, I'm not going to speak too much on this because our resident researcher, Dr. Harry Akoa, is going to speak about his work on this on Thursday. But as many of you have mentioned, aquaponics is something that people really seem to have taken a lot of interest in. So we do have a lot of interest in that here in our region. In the Federated States of Micronesia, we have a success story from a few years ago with Micronesia pearl and sea cucumber projects, which is the sea cucumber work is still ongoing with Dr. Manoj Nair, who's also here. And to date, we had trained over 30 technicians in hatchery techniques, and over 100 community members were trained in pearl and half pearl jewelry making. And the trainees actually became the trainers after time. And we had put about 10 years of funding into this, and I believe they're still continuing the work with the sea cucumber training. And those people who had become trained under our project are still out training other people across the Pacific. So these are some pictures from that project. This is the original researcher who was doing the work out there, Masahiro Ito, seeding a pearl with one of the trainees. And these are trainees working. And this is one of the girls from Pakin Atoll, which was a small community that began a commercial pearl, or attempted to begin a commercial pearl farm venture from this project. And so she's holding some of the pearls. And then these are the sea cucumbers. In the Republic of the Marshall Islands, we've got a project that's ongoing right now, and I'm going to show you a little video on it after this, so I won't speak about it too much. But the focus of that has been both sustainable feed development and workforce training. And to date, we've got over 40 Marshallese trained in running the finfish hatchery and the grow-out operation. And something unique about this this project that actually has been highlighted by USAID and other funding agencies who have supported it is the inclusion of women in the training, because you wouldn't guess it by looking at this room, and I was really happy to see so many women in here, but especially in the Pacific, aquaculture is a very male-dominated industry, and in the more patriarchal societies of the Pacific Islands, women are not always invited to the table when it comes to that. So the hatchery manager is a woman on the Marshall Islands project. So I'm going to play a little video, and just, David, I thought of you the whole time I'm sitting here thinking, okay, please don't judge me too much. And I cut out the intro. I thought to save time, but now I'm wasting it. But I cut out the intro, so just keep that in mind. It is kind of a full video, but this is just a few minutes of it, just to give you guys a little light into it.
This project means a lot.
I can just do the, hold on. I have the other video thing. Do you need it? I don't know, but I have the video actually saved on here too in case that happened. So should I just do that? Or do you think it'll go?
I don't know. I'm not a techno. I don't know anything about
Okay. Okay, no problem. Here we go. I got it right. Sorry, I'm a Mac user.
This project means a lot to us, the people of Rongelap Atoll here in the Marshall Islands, because it's about sustainability. We want to work with the environment and at the same time harvest, fish where our local people can, consume in a sustainable way for, a very long time.
The project is led by marine aquaculture expert Ryan Murashige, who has temporarily relocated to Majuro from his home in Honolulu. The primary focus of Ryan's work has been capacity building, from establishing the necessary infrastructure to training the local workforce.
One of the first things we needed to do is to properly train the Marshallese people, and that was time consuming. But in the end, I've gotten a good bunch of staff that's very reliable, hardworking. They're very knowledgeable, and they follow instructions well.
To date, over 40 Marshallese have been trained in the various aspects of running the business, including hatchery management, feed making, grow out, harvest, transportation, and cage construction and maintenance. With higher than average wages, the work is attractive to the local population, including women, who do not typically have many job opportunities in this traditional patriarchal society.
I like it because it's in the Marshall Islands and I get to stay here. I don't have to leave. The training involves a lot of math, and my favorite part is watching over the babies.
Every day I see, come here, eat, and have my crew do their job.
I work hard because I need money. And I like this project because first time in martial art. Working with Brian is good. Always help us.
Once thoroughly trained, the technicians become the trainers for new staff. This strategic approach is different from previous aquaculture attempts in the Marshall Islands, as it creates a system of accountability among the local workforce and reduces dependence on foreign expertise.
On the islands, it's very hard and difficult to find managers to run the operation. You can bring somebody from outside, but then it's costly. And got to a point where it was not, we couldn't find nobody. So.
Okay, I'm going to cut it off there just because of the time limit. But so you just saw one of our primary means of extension is actually our video series. Oops, what did I do here? Uh-oh. Sorry. Okay. Okay, and so this is, oh, let me open this. Sorry, I'm technologically challenged. Okay, so this is USAID. One of the things that we like to do is make sure our projects leverage fund and that we're multi-institutional. And so USAID is one of the big sponsors of this project, and they just did a whole program on Sonia, the hatchery manager, and her role as a woman in aquaculture in the Pacific Islands. I'm not going to go over extension in Palau too much because Miguel is speaking next. So they're doing mangrove crabs, milkfish, rabbitfish, and coral grouper. And other extension in the region, Harry's also going to talk about the aquaponics in American Samoa, where we had some success with the aquaponics project and also developing a local feed. And in Guam and the CNMI, where our extension has focused on shrimp farm and aquaponics. So our main methods of extension that are come from our center and from our researchers as well are our extension publications. And we have education extension publications. And one thing I wanted to share with you, if you're interested in, we do have a curriculum. It's an informal aquaculture curriculum for K to 12, students in K to 12. And it's available for free on our website. We've had a couple people tell us that they even use it when they starting farm operations and they want to teach new technicians general things about aquaculture. And we also have a Make Your Own Tilapia Feed children's manual that accompanied our adult manual. So we do try to reach out to all ends of the spectrum in our outreach. We have a series of videos. The one that you just saw was one little snippet of one that's part of our Aquaculture in the Pacific Islands series, and that series features different activities, and also it serves extension purposes like managing FNO outbreaks in cultured tilapia or on-farm food safety for aquaponics producers. And we also have an Island Farmer Spotlight series where we go and interview farmers and show what they're doing, and they tell you where you can buy their products. And we have our website. This is our main extension tool because everything you need can be found there. We have a farmers section, and it includes information on events and publications that would be of relevance. We update our news regularly and our events and multimedia section. And then we also, some of you may subscribe to it, we have a monthly newsletter. And if you would like to join our newsletter list, please let me know at the end of the talk. So now just really briefly on to our greatest regional challenges. So like a lot of you, or what we've heard today, workforce is a big issue for us. We also have lack of some key resources needed, such as cost-effective feed, energy, capital investment, and permitting, as well as government and community support. Even though we have this inherent connection to the ocean and to fish in our region, we still have a bridge that we need to, a gap that we need to bridge. So really what we'd like is your feedback. I don't know if we have 1 minute for it maybe, but how we can enhance the impacts of our extension efforts and make our vision for sustainable aquaculture development in the Pacific Islands a reality, because we do have some people that are trained, as you could see through some of our workforce projects, but we'd really like to do more, and most of all, we'd really like to maximize our impact with what we are doing. Anybody suggestions or questions? They're on YouTube and Vimeo, but if you want to find them all, look for them on our website. That's where they're all linked up together. So, yes. Oh, that's a great question. So I don't know if you could hear that on the video, but the question was about the market. A lot of our focus is on local sustainability and on the local markets, but there are a few products that we have, like the moi, for example, is acceptable in international markets. Sea cucumbers, if we can get the production down the right way, that has a high value in the international market. We're working on coral grouper right now in Palau, which also has a high value in the international market, and that's close to Asia, so it's relatively easy for exporting purposes. In terms of the oysters, the oyster work that we've done in Hawaii, obviously the work Maria has done has laid the foundation for growers on the West Coast to continue their hatchery, the ones that were having the issues with temperature and acidification in the Pacific Northwest. So they export to the West Coast as well.